Today on One Man Garage, we're actually working on the Rallye 350 frame. Yeah, that winged yellow Oldsmobile. How about that? Been wrestling around with the new brake line. Got the hose for the differential. The new one I've had for years. Got it, finger tied it in. The clips were still on the frame, so this side was pretty easy. Had a booger of a time unfolding this stainless. Kind of mangled it. Supply line, but it's got a few clamps, so it's good enough to get it under the car. So I gotta start digging out all the crap from that thing and clear out the space so we can start positioning to get underneath it. It's gonna be 10 years by next fall that I've owned this car, so it's kind of regretful I pulled it apart. I didn't expect it to be that long, but you know, it happens to all of us. Hey, Marbell. Also did a quadra jet in place of that crappy 600 AVS2 Edelbrock on Star Chief after getting it going with the disc brakes. I think that we're going to do a mileage test on it soon. I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm waiting on a choke pull off vacuum deal in the mail because it, you know, it's part of getting the choke working better, and the that's an automatic electric choke, by the way, and the secondary transition tune on it, but it's working well. I think it's a 80 square body carb. That right there is the factory 391 anti-spin, aka posi, aka limited slip rear end with the box rear control arms and sway bars, same stuff that comes on a 442. Manual steering gearbox, manual drum brakes with the Bell style drums, and the rear original little Bell style drums. I actually got some really good, better F85 door panels from this Canadian guy restoring a W31. Probably shouldn't have left them out here. They look like they warped a little, but we'll get them sorted out later. Got the I picked up an M20 Muncie years ago, going in place of the missing M21 Muncie. Got a F85 H-stamped factory F85 4-speed Hurst shifter. Got a new ram air flap thing for the hood. It's factory ram air car. Oh, you know, just stuff. I'm going to try to unload this trunk after I move all this out of the way. When I pulled all this stuff off, I literally just did the control arm bolts, gearbox to frame, idler arm to frame, left the sway bar on it, everything, steering, everything's hooked up. So I really intended to just paint the frame nice and get it back on, but yeah, life happens. This is coming around. Oh man, I got a lot of mess under there. Got the wheels painted years ago, had the tires on them prematurely, and I ended up pulling the tires off, and that's what's been on the red wagon for years now, because they were going to dry rot if I didn't use them. I finally got the trunk emptied out. My knee hurts, my back hurts. Still has rust holes, but drivable rust holes. It'll get a floor pan, driver's side patch before this is messed with once it's driving this new year. It's like a swap meet over here. This stuff was all in the trunk. And, you know, I'm still selling these four, actually all six, the four Fenton Hustler 2 14x6, which are GM 4.75 bolt pattern. I believe they're meant for the 60s all drum brake cars. So those would look really good on a 64, 65A body, or a 55 to 57 shoebox with 14s with drums, just cruiser. And then those American Racing capped other ones are also 14s, but they work with disc brakes. So don't let that stop you. Make a deal on all six, $500. Meet you in the area somewhere. Let me know. Different air cleaner on the Chief. Looks pretty good. Got a Moroso drop base. There's those old wheels, dusty. That is still new paint. I think it's got one chip. So what we're doing here is using like 8-foot warehouse shelving beams under the rockers of the front of the wheel opening, and it's the second time I done this type technique. Almost 20 years ago I did a frame replacement on a 68 GTO I used to have, and did it in the driveway. Had them painted and swapped out in like 2 weeks, which didn't happen this time, obviously. Overconfident, I think. So basically what the deal was, I can move the jack stands to outside the body at the ends of the shelving beams, like these other ones out there. Then the frame will lay up under the beams. Then I'll jack the frame up to support the beams. You follow me? Then I put the jack stands under the frame, and then eventually, leaving the jack stands on the frame, you can jack up the body up enough to get the beams out and get it down nestled onto the frame. So that's what that's all about. Of course, we'll have to get it in position, and this busted concrete shifted a lot, and it's pretty sketch. So here's some of that foundation damage I mentioned. It's significant. Rebar called and said, "You've left me at the store." Yeah. Well, got cardboard on the frame to scoot on the ground. We just slide it over these turds. And yeah. As you can see, this car used to have headers. That's still hanging. Axle, ignition, and crane cam. Back in the day from Hallsville, Texas. Pretty sure it was bought new out of Shreveport, Louisiana. And it was supposedly never raced at the track. I did track down the previous owner. And yeah, I don't think this has been on the road in minimum 30 years. Maybe longer. Maybe 40. But we'll it's gonna happen, Captain. They only made 1,020 F85s, which are all two-door posts with the Rallye 350 W-45 option. Out of those 1,020 Rallye 350 F85s, I'm sure the majority were automatics. We don't have exact numbers of manual shift, but figure less than half. And then figure how many of those 3-speed manuals and wide ratio M20 manuals were no AC 391 geared M21 cars, no power accessories, heater only, manual drum brakes, manual steering, all of them bench seat. So safe to say probably only a couple hundred were built like this one at best. So pretty rare. Well, we're gonna see if I can push get this thing. See if that works. Pardon the view. as you can see, one-man garage ain't lying, just me. So if I can get the back elevated, line up one of the rear bolts, one corner, then I can pivot the other end and get one of the fronts. Then it should be mostly square. Got the jack in place of that crate and got it closer. Now of course I've got to jack up the frame until it supports the cross beams. So, and I haven't bought my new body bushings yet. I have some, the old ones. I just put a couple pucks in place, the ones that don't have bolts go through, and these are for aligning the holes with the bolts hanging down, just to visualize, because we're not actually bolting it down right now. We have to get the frame elevated under the beams and get the jack stands out from under the beams so that we can support the frame fully, and then we'll jack the floor pan up where this bucket seats bracket braces are, and then we'll relieve the pressure where the beams are and slide those out and get it down on the frame. So it's sort of a multi-step process. This jack in the front so I can get it up and work my way up till we're under the cross beams and move jack stands around. Got the jack stands, focus, jack stands in place. Now I need to jack stand the rear, and then we will tweak to get those beams off of those jack stands. Now we're jacking up the big cross member so it'll be strong enough to support. Oh well, maybe you can see. We're doing this to get off of those jack stands outside the frame rails. Looks like we're off. So now we're going to take those big heavy duty ones and put them on the frame. See what I mean? That seems all right. Mind you, I might move them under the body. I could see a little flex from the body not supporting the frame at the back, so I gotta be smarter. Put the jack stands, I think, need to be hold. Move the jack stands a little bit forward. We're gonna see how that does. If I see flex. Not much. Good enough. Your body and your frame have to be together to actually, for either to be strong. So now I got to take these blocks up front. We will try this again. See how that does. Alright, off the beam. These undecided. Should I go higher? Probably. Oh man. Yes, I am tired. All right. I'm gonna take a break. I'm tired. Well, that's the next day. It's New Year's Eve. I took a break yesterday. I was pretty tired. I'm kind of tired today, just from carrying stuff mostly. I got the jack on some of the floor pan braces, and even though it's not ideal, I'm kind of between my beams. I want to see whichever one picked up is the one I'm removing. So it looks like the front beam is ready to come out. We're gonna put this puck right there. I thought I set that other, oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I was out here yesterday. Didn't even know the Cowboy game was on. I missed it. I guess I should check alignment. Not quite. It's close. That bolt drop through there is showing how close we are to this. So I think we're in pretty good shape. that is kind of in there. Alrighty. Now, I really need to jack this from the back, get this other beam out. I'm gonna need some more things to stack with. That's gonna take a minute. I'll probably need one more board on this sketch of Jenga, but see if I feel lucky. I think it picked up on one side. Let me see. Sketch, but it's there. Damn, just that much. Well, I might have to get one more board. That doesn't look very good either. So, extra sketch level 2.0. Do not do what I do. Entertainment value here. I am safe under jack stands, but this is probably not the way you should do this. So I'm just throwing that out there, because some people might miss a step. Alright, that's working. Let's get that beam out. Take a quick check where the fuel and brake lines travel, make sure they're not going to pinch. I think we're okay back here. That should work. Yeah, I think we're all right. Now, mind you, we're not exactly in position, but it's close. Look at the center lines. We're in the hole, but we're not doing the permanent bushings right now because I hadn't even bought the kit. So that was just to say that, hey, it's gonna sit down, it ain't gonna fall off, and that's all she wrote. We can tweak on that. We can always jack it up lightly and use a pry bar in the hole where the threads are and tweak it around a little bit. So we'll align that on a future episode right here in my dirty ass one-man garage. Thanks for watching part 1 of Get Her Done. Get that frame back on that car.